Acting programs and acting classes at the Maggie Flanigan Studio in New York are based on teaching the Meisner Technique as Sanford Meisner intended. In this video, Eden Marryshow and Charlie Sandlan discuss the fear that many actors have that prevent them from receiving the training needed for a long professional acting career.
You know, I've been a teacher for a long time, and I've interviewed, thousands of students. I've taught, many people. And it is always surprising to me how prevalent fear is, and how it can keep people from pursuing their dreams, from committing to something that might seem very daunting and scary. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts are about that. And did you experience that kind of fear when you made a commitment to come here? And what are your thoughts about that?
Well, yeah, definitely felt fear, continue to feel fear, continue to feel that fear of failure, yes. Reframing it to me means it has to go from failing to feedback. If we can take our egos out of it, and if we can take the emotion out of it, we can take the elevator music out of it, and we can look at it for what it is, it's feedback.
The fear of feedback,
the fear of criticism, failure, or failure in general, is feedback. So if I fail, like I did with the Superman thing, I can say, oh, that was wrong. Let me readjust myself. So it all then goes back to the idea of like having a North Star.
Yeah, man, the criticism is huge. Like, what do you think people could accomplish if they were guaranteed that they wouldn't be criticized?
Everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Brene Brown talks about that a lot.
That's right. Yeah. I love Brene Brown.
Yeah.
I mentioned her in Bruce.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And again, I've definitely experienced a ton of the fear of failure. I mean, I was at the Board of Education for 10 years of my life, from 18 to 28. One of my dreams was to work with my dad, which I had the pleasure of doing. But like from 18 to 28, I went to Brooklyn College for film production, got all my film credits, and then was like, I'm good. And I started to make my own little movies, and people would say that they were good, or that, but my own sense of it's like not thinking that I was good enough is also another thing. Yeah. And again, I say this all the time. People, we're all consumed with being perfect, but perfect comes from
It can't be perfect in anything.
Nothing is perfect. And again, it comes from the Latin perfectus, which means complete. We're all born perfect. So it's just this kind of weird thing where we're searching outside of ourselves, right? But it's here. So for 10 years doing that, and being scared and daydreaming with my friend Wansell when we would go to the Chinese spot or Wendy's or McDonald's or whatever, like driving at lunchtime and then just like sitting back, like dreaming about like what life would be if I actually did take a shot, take a chance. That's 10 years of my life, and it was really scary, the prospect of doing that, and we all kind of experience that. There are people that'll tell you that you can't make it. I have something to say to the people that are scared about people judging them. Anybody that tells you you can't do it has never gone after anything in their life, or they've gone after it and they stopped. Anybody, Nicole, who went to Maggie's, randomly ran into Daniel Day-Lewis on like 20, you remember that kid? Ran into Daniel Day-Lewis on like 23rd and 6th, and he walked all the way with her to Washington Park.
I remember her talking about that, and they had a conversation.
And this is the dude.
Talk about giving back, paying forward, like just to have a conversation.
Yep, to have that conversation. And he told her, you can do it. I'm not going to say it's easy. I think his niece or something was trying to do it too. And he was like, but you can do it. Right. Anybody that's gone after anything and enjoyed the journey is not going to tell you can't do it.
So what do you say to somebody who's sitting in front of their computer and they're like, God, I want to be an actor, and I think I need training, but I'm just not sure if I got the time or the money. Money's such a big thing.
It'll come.
Forget about money and going into debt.
Okay.
And it freaks them out, man. It just freaks them out, and they get crushed by fear.
That's right. Follow your freak out. If you're freaking out, it's probably a good thing. Because it's probably, I believe that intuition, fear can be a good thing. If you feel that fear, that's the path. Who goes and watches a movie where the middle of the movie, the heroine is not falling flat on their face? Like, who wants to see it? Who wants to see the beginning of the movie, life is great, and the end of the movie, life is great, the middle of the movie, life is great. It's the idea of when you feel that fear, you jump in. You know from now on, that is your intuition saying we have to go that way. And that's part of the reframing. So if you're watching this right now, you're watching it for a reason. Come, interview, check it out. I'm not getting paid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, seriously though, like, this is really serious. Like, I love this studio. I love Charlie Sandlan. I love Katie Healy. I love Maggie Flanigan. I'm indebted to them for life, for the craft that I've gotten and I've received. If people are out there, even if it's yourself, you don't know. Never have a broke person tell you how to get rich. And if you are broke in this whole acting thing, you don't even know what you're talking about. Press send an email, do it. If you commit, if you give your all, it will happen. I had $2,500 in the bank when we decided to make Bruce. It was a 143-page first draft that a bunch of people told us it wasn't anything.
Yeah.
They told us it was crap. But I was frustrated. I was like, I'm going to make this. And what did I do? Because I am smart when it comes to certain things, I got all of my Maggie Flanigan friends. I was like, you know what? This script might not be the best. But I have a bunch of friends who know how to work and who will figure stuff out for me and do the work. So I had about $25,000, maybe $3,000 to make a feature film. And because of favors and love and craft, people started to jump on the train. People love to jump on a moving train.
Because people believe in you. Because you speak and have such a positive energy, man.
Thank you, Charlie.
You know what I mean? And that's what I love about you.
Thank you.
Because not only are you a talented actor and you're serious, but you give so much to people.
Thank you.
And you spend all of your days trying to help people become better.
That's what I'm obsessed with. I believe in it.
And look, I mean, your life just continues to take off, and the world just keeps bringing stuff back to you.
It does. It's crazy.
So what would you say to people that are like worried about the money, and worried about like, I tell students because they're freaked out, and they don't want to take all these classes. I say, listen, if you're going to start a business, you have to invest in it, and if that business is you and your body and your craft, but it scares people. Like they won't do it. Yeah. They'll put it off until all the stars are aligned.
Exactly.
And the stars are never going to be aligned.
They're never going to be aligned.
So what do you say to people like that?
It's the pine box rule. So
pine box.
Yeah. So basically for me, it's just like, am I going to be thinking about this when they put the moment before I get put in that box and get buried in the ground? No, I'm not.
I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, please do. But so for me, for a lot of this stuff, that's what it's about. And it's like, the money will come. If you think about the how, the lining of the stars, like how am I going to do something? That's not your work. Whatever you believe in, God, the universe, that's its work. Your work is figuring out like, look, this is what I want to do with my life. This is how I'm going to grow the universe. Like, I don't believe in this idea that God is a stagnant thing, or the universe is a stagnant thing. I believe it's growing with all of us, right? So the idea is like, if we're committed to growth, it's always going to support. The universe always supports dreamers. There is a safety net. There will be. I had no money when I started the Maggie Flanigan Studio. I had no money when I was starting Bruce, right? Actually, I had a little bit of money before I started Maggie Flanigan, but then it all went away because I wasn't going on auditions as much. I committed fully to like doing this. Yeah. Money came. The money will always come. I had I think I told you like 53 cents in the bank, I think. So
I remember you talking.
Yeah, so we were going to complete. So we were editing, trying to finish up the editing of Bruce, and I had 53 cents in the bank, and we owed about $6,000, almost $6,000 in rent, and we had never been late on our rent before, ever. Like Sasa is like. So But she tells me, and you're laughing because you know what I'm talking about. So she was so then she said, Eden, she was really honest, like, Eden, you're gonna have to probably have to get a job. And I hadn't had a job in years because I've been working as an actor, which is amazing, or doing like Dream Big Go Hard. So I was like, oh man, I have to get a job and like figure this out, but I want to finish my movie. So I'm talking to my friend Jean Godo one day, and I look in her eyes, like literally that afternoon, I look in her eyes, and I'm telling her the story, and there's something in her eyes was just like, no. And I was like, you be a hypocrite. So I was like, I'm gonna do the only thing I know how to do, which is to go home and work on my film and trust that the universe will be there. Long story, a little shorter, I get a call to go on a voiceover audition. I end up booking in like the next 3 days a national Bacardi spot. Voiceover became like the voice of Bacardi for that season. And that was it. It just happens.
It happens.
I'm not special. I mean, I'm special, but we're all special. It's not rocket science. It's just the idea. The scariest thing is to jump in. If you do it, it will happen. If you're watching television and you're like, this guy's a hack, or this woman's a hack, or this one has no talent, you shut the fuck up and do something.
That's right, because you're not in the arena, right? As Brene Brown said,
that's right.
You're not in the arena.
And before her, Teddy Roosevelt,
that's right,
which was the speech that Eric Kuhneman did in Alyssa's in our Voice 2 class, which was my introduction to it. And I was like, dude, who said that? I'm about that.
Right.
The man in the arena.
That's right.
You know, there's a bunch of critics. Who's gonna be woman enough to jump in?
That's right.
And say, let's get it.
That's right.
Apply today for admission to the acting programs and acting classes at the Maggie Flanigan Studio. Admission to the studio is based on an interview with Charlie Sandlan, the executive director. Call the studio with any question you may have about our acting classes, 2-year acting programs, and summer acting programs.